Welcome to the GCSE Maths Advantage. I'm Dr. James Carter, and every episode I'm going to break down one topic, show you where the marks are, and give you a quick win you can use in your next exam. Whether you're targeting a grade 7 or pushing for a 9. Let's get into it.
Hook. Last year, one simple rate question cost more students' marks than almost any other question on the AQA higher paper. They set up the wrong equation and lost 4 marks, not because the algebra was hard, but because the translation from words to maths was off. Today, I will give you one process that fixes that every time.
First, scope. We are covering linear rate problems, distance equals speed times time, people and work rates, and simple filling or draining questions. We are not covering exponential growth or complicated non-linear models. That's a different episode. Sound good?
The concept. So what is a rate problem? In exams, you are given quantities that change over time, how fast something happens. The key is to translate the story into an equation that links the quantities. I use a simple 3-step modeling method. Identify quantities, write the relationship, choose a variable. Follow those 3 steps and the algebra becomes mechanical. Step 1. Identify quantities. What are we comparing? Distance, speed, time, or perhaps work done per hour for people or taps. Step 2. Write the relationship. For distance problems, that is, distance equals speed times time. For work, work done equals rate times time, which is the same algebraic idea. Step 3. Choose a variable. Pick the unknown and give it units. That last part is where most students lose marks. You must define your variable clearly.
Let's work through a clear distance example so you can hear the method in action. Question. A runner covers 5 kilometers in 20 minutes at a steady pace. How long will it take the runner to cover 8 kilometers at the same pace? Don't reach for mental shortcuts yet. Let's model it.
Okay, so identify the quantities, distance and time. Speed is a rate, but we can use distance over time.
Exactly. Now write the relationship. Speed equals distance divided by time. But for modeling in algebra form, distance equals speed times time. Choose a variable. Let t be the time in minutes to run 8 kilometers. Write known speed in the same units. The runner does 5 kilometers in 20 minutes, so speed is 5 over 20 kilometers per minute, which simplifies to 1 over 4 kilometers per minute.
Now, form the equation using distance equals speed times time. For 8 kilometers, we write 8 equals a quarter times t. Solve. Multiply both sides by 4, so t equals 32. That is 32 minutes. And crucially, we wrote the units next to the variable, so the examiner can see we've used minutes consistently.
Notice the reasoning behind each algebraic move. We used the relationship because speed is constant. We converted to a rate in kilometers per minute, so units matched, and we defined t clearly. That chain of reasoning is what picks up method marks, even if you slip a numerical sign.
Exam technique. Let's be specific about marks. On a typical 4-mark rate question, you'll often see M1, 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 A1. M1 for a correct relation or equation. M1 for substitution of numbers with correct units. M1 for the correct algebraic method, and A1 for the final answer with appropriate units. If you lose the final mark, you can still keep 3 method marks by showing working clearly. Common pitfalls I see markers report. Mixing units, for example writing speed in kilometers per hour, then time in minutes without converting. Choosing an unclear variable, like saying x with no units, and setting up the relation backwards. Markers reward the equation. If the equation's correct, you get an M1 even before you rearrange.
So even if the algebra goes wrong later, showing the right equation can still earn marks.
Exactly. Write the equation, state your units, and the examiner will often award method marks. Also, if a question looks like a combined rates problem, write the rates separately first. Don't try to force a single combined expression without showing the parts.
The quick win. Here's a checklist you can use under time pressure. 1. Define your variable clearly with units. 2. Write the equation that directly links the quantities. 3. Make sure both rates use the same units, both in kilometers per hour or both in kilometers per minute. 4. Rearrange cleanly and solve. 5. Substitute your answer back into the original relation to check. That last step takes 10 seconds and catches most errors.
Let's demonstrate the check we just mentioned. From earlier, t equals 32 minutes for 8 kilometers. Substitute. Speed was 1/4 kilometer per minute, so distance equals speed times time, which gives 1/4 multiplied by 32 equals 8. That matches. Check done. Marks safe.
Worked example and classroom tip. Now, a slightly harder combined rates problem you'll see on higher papers. Question. Tap A fills a tank in 6 hours. Tap B fills it in 9 hours. A leak empties the tank in 18 hours. If both taps are open and the leak is present, how long to fill the tank?
We identify rates per hour. So rate of A is 1/6 of the tank per hour, B is 1/9, leak is -1/18.
Good. Write the equation for combined rate. Total rate equals 1/6 plus 1/9 minus 1/18. Put these on a common denominator of 18. 1/6 is 3/18, 1/9 is 2/18, minus 1/18 gives 4/18, which simplifies to 2/9 of the tank per hour. Now let t be the time in hours to fill the tank, so 2/9 times t equals 1 full tank. Therefore t equals 9/2 hours, which is 4.5 hours or 4 hours 30 minutes. Write that with units. T equals 4h 30 min.
Classroom tip for teachers or study groups. Give each pair a set of 3 numbers, 2 fill times and 1 empty time, and ask them to predict whether the tank will ever fill or stay empty. That gets them thinking about positive versus negative net rate and checks understanding of the model in 5 minutes.
Before we finish, a final grade 9 move reminder. When you write rates, put units beside each fraction. For example, 1/6 tank per hour. It looks small, but markers notice consistent notation, and it prevents unit slip-ups in the exam. Small habit, big difference. That's your quick win for today. 1 sentence recap. Define the variable with units, write the equation that links the quantities in the same units, solve, and always substitute back to check. If this helped, share it with a friend who's revising.
You'll find a downloadable worksheet with worked solutions and extra practice at jcacademyonline.co.uk. Until next time, trust the process and nail that exam. Stay curious.